I said, I never forget the day Simon arrived, and I said, what does he look like? He said, just look for the moustache. It's distinctive. And that was that.
He's very intellectual in some senses. That was one of the things that people struggled with, because obviously he's a Guardian reader. He does crosswords. He's into music. He's got, what we'd say in inverted commas, a quite cultured individual. He was married to a school teacher. He's a professional musician, so he's quite a bright individual. And
I was a very civilised drunk. Alcohol was always around, and alcohol was just a sort of fairly normal part of our life, in the same way that it's a fairly normal part of a lot of people's lives. But millions of people out there, a glass of wine at a party, and it helps them to relax and have fun. But I'd got way beyond that. I'm trying to remember when I first saw my doctor write down alcohol dependency. Well, Janie died 10 years ago.
when he lost his partner, he couldn't come to terms with that loss, and it left him in a state of confusion.
Grief, loss, guilt.
Very lost soul, very lost individual. Quite frightened individual, if you like, in terms of not knowing what to expect when he came here, which is quite common for most clients, but he wore it on his face, his expression.
Shame, frustration, the kind of feelings that we don't like looking at and dealing with. And alcohol's a very easy way of not dealing with them. I went into detox on Christmas Eve, and I'd been waiting for the best part of 6 months to get in. So, I mean, I was desperate. 3 days on reducing dose of Valium. Physically, I started to feel better very quickly. But that physical stuff's all quite fixable, really. You know, even the liver, bless it. But emotionally and mentally, I was a wreck as well. There are no quick fixes for that. It's a process. It's a long process.
So my job basically was just to kind of introduce myself to him and explain what Nelson was about, to try and give him a sense of what I was going to offer him as an individual, as a person, and also as a counsellor.
When I first rolled up, and I had absolutely no idea what I'd let myself in for. I knew that whatever it was, it couldn't be worse than what I'd left behind.
For me, all clients are inclined to use alcohol or drugs, partly out of pleasure and some partly out to manage or resolve problems in the short term. But as the evidence shows, when you come into rehab, it's not long lasting. You can't rely on substances to resolve your personal issues.
As a group first.
Humiliation, self-blame.
Yeah, that's right.
To justify it. Sadness.
Sadness.
Discomfort.
There's a little card that we always read out at the beginning of process group. Through mutual identification, we discover that we are not alone. There's a lot of that goes on, not just in groups, but all the time. Talking about our lives before we came here, our plans for when we leave here.
But in here is hard. I mean,
sharing a house with all of the people and the total emotional pressure on your mind.
it's so intense. It is so intense because you analyse things that in everyday life you never analyse. But I suppose the good thing about it, you get like a kind of a heightened sense of awareness of your behaviour.
Just being with a bunch of people who've led chaotic lives and working with them and discovering meaning and purpose, rediscovering that sense of wonder in the world, and the idea that there's loads of stuff out there and that I can have it if I want it, and I do. I want it again.